I did a little, yeah. I should also point out that maybe you should get used to those games. He was like, I'm like I also got to look at Harold Chicken. Oh, yeah, yeah. No. I know. His sophomore year, it was really funny. They played Duke, and it was this huge thing about Jason Williams. Jason Williams had a rib injury. You know, and like after the game, so like, I went to Dave, he's like, yeah, I had a whole year. Like, talk about how great I am. Like, this is my job. Very funny. Ended up going down. I don't even know why they had to make a big deal out of Jay Williams either. I started him. I hit him all the time. I've been trying to knock big stuff over. Like, yeah. You never know. I asked him, like, talk about I see that. Yeah.
But he does it like each year, and like his Toys R Us receipt, like he's probably like what 6'5", 6'6", and like doubled up.
I love that. I love the day, like you say that. But I was like, it's question. Just getting through to the next week and you go forward, you see like how it goes. And his answer, well, I didn't know. You might as well just sit there. What don't you people understand?
Everything on the internet is no. Jennifer cursing all those cursing gifts.
Theory, maybe.
Break off on their own.
I didn't realize that. I run fire almost one night here. Yeah, just kind of viewed it. I messaged Jake and Gary Parrish about that. Just like, you know, there's
He was like, it is. He's like, they've got like a lot of different there's like a core group, like Tiger Bags, Air Press, and I think they've had Tiger people like, they don't care. They're more interested. It's like the real dream. He's like, he had that big saying on it. He's like, I can't, yeah, he's like, I can't remember what he called it. He's like, it had the saying on it. He's like, there was one I used to really like, but I can't. I think it was. I'm sure there was literally what we're talking about is you're playing so many guys. Have you ever had a conversation with John Wooden about being just ask him.
Thank you. Yes.
Now this morning you said your best teams have all played 6, 7, 8 guys. So is this not one of your best teams yet, or is that the jury still out?
It'll be interesting to see how we finish, but you know the best teams I've had, like just unbelievable teams. I'm not saying the most talented teams, but I'm telling you the best basketball teams we had were when I was playing 5 and 6 guys.
Tyler had ice on his game after the last game. He had a warming thing on his leg before practice today. Are you worried at all about that?
No. He's got to make sure he takes care of him. It's kind of like you go in an NBA locker room, every one of them. I think 75% of the NBA has tendonitis. So you can figure out how to play with it or don't play. Get another job.
Is that what he has, tendonitis?
No, but it's the same idea. I mean, there are certain things you have that you got to deal with. You got to learn to play with.
John, you've had great success with some Chicago guys, and I wonder what you think are maybe some characteristics there, and maybe what the experience of playing there could have done.
They were all different. I mean, Derek played at one of the best high schools as far as the traditional program. Anthony played at one of the worst high schools traditionally program, and Tyler played at a private school. So it's all different. What they all had in common is a desire to improve, a comfort level in their skin, which made them very good teammates, great guys to be around. And it's funny how they won't ever change. I mean, you know, the injury that Derek has, his team fully supports him because they know what a great guy he is and that he's there for him. And the same with Anthony. I mean, I've watched him play where Tyreek Evans, he played for me too, had like 35 and he was fine with it. Never bothered him. He'd just keep feeding him the ball and chesting him. And he's just, you know, he's one of those guys. And this kid's the same way. I mean, he's cheering for Andrew to do well. And he knows how good Andrew is. And even though they run the different teams and they go at each other, he has great respect and he's a great teammate.
How well do you know Steve, and how are his challenges there similar to the challenges you face here?
I know him. I've known him for years and years. I mean, we become close, but I knew him when he was at Southwest Missouri State. Did things for him. My wife grew up an hour and a half from there on a dirt farm, and you guys didn't catch that. That's what I told her. She grew up on a dirt farm. And he and I have been close. When he went to Iowa, I think we played. They beat us when I was at Memphis, one of my first years. But he's a terrific coach, just a great guy, great family. Tanya's a great lady. His kids are great kids. I mean, And he's now has that opportunity to be there in that job, which is one of the premier jobs.
John,
How's
when
it
you came
similar to
here,
this?
when you came here, I'm sorry, you rejected the idea of like a grace period where you could sort of take your time getting it going. You wanted to hit the ground running. I'm wondering if that was a product of tradition and everything where the standard is so high.
Well, there are two things. The kids remember the last 3 years. The families remember the last 30. The kids remember the last 3. They remember when they were 13 and 14, and that before that, they don't have any idea. I think what Steve did last year, I think they won 30 games or 29 games or whatever it was. Walked right in and developed guys that people did not think would be able to go right to the NBA, and they did. 3 of them, one after 1 year, the 4th pick of the draft. He's also now done it with Kevin Looney. I mean, they're telling me he's the 4th or 5th pick of the draft. So he has developed players, but I think in our case, we were kind of prepared to lose a bunch of guys. I don't think they knew that many guys would leave them. And so that one guy being missing has made it so they're playing 5 and 6 guys. They would have played 7 and they would have been fine. I mean, but I think he's done a great job. He's on the West Coast. He's rebuilding the image and what they want there. And, we want to tie to programs like that. That's what we want. We're both of us. Does that answer it?
Yeah.
How do you react when coaches like Roy Williams and Latino and Larry Brown compare you to all-time teams? Is that something that is meaningful to you?
A minute there, I thought you were going to say all-time coaches, but I understand that. I understand that's not going to be said. But
I don't know if they have. Not gonna touch that.
What were we talking about? No, I'm just kidding. Look, the thing I want to tell you, what I really like is that Willie's taken on a different persona. I sat him down about a month ago, said, why don't you want to be the #1 pick in the draft? What do you mean? Well, it's obvious you don't want to be the #1 pick. Why wouldn't you? You got this team around you. All you have to do is perform and improve in a couple areas, and you're on the page with why. And he said, I do want it. Well, then do more. Then come into practice longer. Then come in here at night. Then spend more time at the sport. And he has been. But I think when you start talking about some of the teams that were the great teams, you think about they had Hall of Fame players on it. We have yet to prove where we are in that regard. I think we're a terrific team. I think what we've been doing to keep reinforcements coming has made us even better and made it even easier for each guy to perform at a high level. But I'm not, let this season play out before they talk in terms of those teams. Because, again, some of them had 3 Hall of Famers on their team. Like in Springfield. Their college team had 3. And to compare us to those teams, come on.
Do you think they're sincere, or are they trying to put pressure on you?
I don't know. Maybe they're looking at us compared to who's the other college teams the last couple of years, maybe. I don't know.
What aspects have you taken from the North Carolina game?
Toughness, rebounding, breakdowns defensively, not sprinting back, things that will cost you basketball games, which is what we focused on here now this week and for the next 3. We're the 13th best defensive rebounding team out of 14 in our league. Really. The tallest bad defensive rebounding team in the history of the game. So there are things that I look at right now and I'm like, come on. We turned it over with just a little bit of pressure, token traps, and we threw the ball all over the place. I would say if you watched our game, you got teams licking their chops. We're going to run and press and trap these dudes and try to get baskets, free baskets early, and when we shoot it, we're sending 4 to the glass. Forget about them. I mean, if you watch that game, that's what you do. Teams that are, will push you in the back on shots so they get an edge, and teams that'll just crash and bang and grab, they're looking at this and licking their chops.
How big is the rebounding aspect with a guy like me?
It's more than just him. I mean, I'm talking about my team. Our guards right now, we may have the worst group of rebounding guards in the country too. So we're doing stuff to hold them accountable. And we started 2 days ago. Yesterday was a individual work day because we're in finals, but we're going to go back at it today. And I told them from here and through what we would call Camp Cal, we're doing this stuff every day. I said, the stuff that we're not doing, the physical play, we get bumped, we get ground, we start throwing balls, a guy nicks us, we throw it. Well, let me tell you, you're going to be playing in games where they grab, they hold, they kick, they push, they bite. Can you play in that kind of game? If you can't play in that kind of game, you can't win that game. He and I met today. He's doing good. He has a great frame of mind. You know, he and I talked a little bit about Derrick Rose's mental approach when it happened to him, and you know, he's going to have the surgery after Christmas, so he has time. And we talked about what his options could be, and that some things that we should think about. And so,
how can he still make it in the draft, even though he's obviously going to miss?
Well, he has more time than Nerlens had, so he's going to have an extra 2 months, really, a month and a half. But I would tell you that that'll still be an option for him if he chooses to. You know, he and I talked slightly. We talked a little bit. I said, you know, the other side of it is, you know, being mentally tougher. Why? Because you'll never get through the rehab. Pushing through a comfort level, which you struggle with. Well, you'll have to do the rehab. You have no choice. Coming back with that increased motor, and then we work on some skills. Told him getting his wrist back on every shot. No more of this. Now we have time. Wrist is going to be back. You're going to be up and off, weather instead of that, which makes it a, you know, and I said, we have time now. So.
How much would you like him as a senior? A guy that
It would be
you brought
nice.
here.
I mean, and a young man that they all respect, and a young man that's a straight A student, and a guy that can do things that normal players can't do, and it would be nice. But if it's in his best interest to put his name in the draft, I will support it and help it along and do that. And he's got to do what's right for him. This is, you know, it's tough, but he was really good today. I mean, I think he's coming back, the reality of this happened. It's not a dream. It's real. Now I got to deal with it. And he looked like he was at ease with what was going forward.
John, there are times,
Last question.
John, there are times when you seem to be moving carefully. I'm wondering if your hip is still giving you problems, or how are you doing?
I'm fine. I mean, the biggest thing is I'm sleeping at night, and I'm working out every day. I still need to lose 20 pounds, which I gained very happily when I couldn't do anything last year. Now it's a little bit harder getting it off, but like I told my team, I'm not supposed to have a six-pack, 55. Supposed to have a little belly when you're 65. Now I don't want to have a big belly, but a little one.
You at 55, we're the same age. When I was a kid growing up, you either rooted.
You're not 55.
I am 55.
Wow, I've been fooled by that one.
You either rooted for UCLA because you really liked their players, or you rooted for everybody but UCLA. You rooted for the other team. Which kid were you? You wanted to see him get beat. I mean.
Look, I liked North Carolina growing up. I liked UCLA. I watched more basketball that way. I didn't have, you know, Pitt, because Pitt wasn't, when I was younger, the Pitt it is now. But we had some guys from our high school team play on that team, so you followed Pitt and some of that stuff, West Virginia and all that, because of where I grew up. UCLA and even like a Kansas, they were far away lands. I mean, I didn't go on a vacation until I was 19, and that was to Maryland. We drove to the Maryland shore. I was not on an airplane till I was 20. So when you start talking UCLA, where in the world, is it in our country? Yeah, like near Youngstown? I mean, where is it? I mean, it's just different than it was, you know, so I wasn't in, but I liked them, you know, respected them.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks.
Thanks.